What types of small businesses receive the most funding? I literally get asked this question all the time because so many people know that there are millions of dollars of funding out there available for businesses. In this video, I'm going to share with you what types of businesses get the most funding and which ones get the least so that you can apply for funding and get the most of funding available. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, all you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple step-by-step process on how to get approved for funding for your business regardless of the type. I'm going to also share with you the high-risk and the lower-risk businesses that are getting approved for the most funding. And I'm going to share with you some secret, sneaky ways on how you can make your business more fundable. Being a small business owner is one of the best decisions that I ever made. I literally get to control my own time and I have unlimited income. When I used to work in corporate America, my salary was limited by how much the company would pay me. I also had to work the hours that they told me to work, and I actually had to work when they told me to work, even if I was done with my work. But as a small business owner, I get to decide how many clients I work with, what days of the week I work, when I work, what months I'm open, when I take vacation. I even get to choose my own clients. I can decide which people I want to work with and which ones I don't. Freedom of having a small business is one of the reasons that most people start their own business, and one of the reasons that I think being an entrepreneur is one of the best things in the world that you can do. So let's talk about how you can get the most amount of funding so that your business can last year after year after year. So when we're talking about getting business funding, it is actually pretty easy to do. More than 50% of all businesses in existence applied for funding last year. Literally, that is the stat that I saw on Forbes magazine, and that is amazing to see that more and more businesses are realizing that funding is available for them and actually applying for that funding. Now let's talk about which businesses are actually receiving the most funding and how you can make your business more fundable in the process. There are many high-risk businesses that are receiving the least amount of funding. High-risk businesses are businesses that lenders feel have a high failure risk, or they feel that is not in the community or the society's good. Let me give you some examples. Trucking is considered a high-risk business, not because it doesn't serve a good purpose, but because it has a high failure rate, and a lot of the trucking people that have gone and gotten loans have defaulted on them. So therefore, trucking and trucking businesses are considered high risk to lenders, and they are receiving lower amounts of funding. There's also businesses like cannabis and gambling that actually make a lot of money, but they actually don't get approved for a lot of funding, or they are not eligible for a lot of funding because banks and lenders don't consider that they're doing a good for the community or society. It's almost like this moral thing, and why they don't really want to lend to those businesses, even though looking at the bottom line and some of their failure risks, that is not one of the reasons. They don't actually fail at a high level, cannabis stores and gambling and casinos and things like that. However, they don't meet, the moral code of what banks and lenders are doing. So those types of businesses are probably going to be harder to get funding, and some of the businesses that you might not want to engage in if you are looking for business funding, or if you need external funding sources. If you're able to fund your business with your own personal funds, or you're able to get your business profitable where you don't need money from a bank, then you should be absolutely okay. However, if you're looking for banks and lenders to lend to you, and you are a cannabis person or gambling or a trucking company, you're going to have more difficult getting funding. Then there are other businesses that make a lot of money and actually are getting funding. So I said that cannabis, but actually is not getting funded, is considered high risk because obviously it's not federally legal at the time of this video. However, liquor and alcohol stores actually are one of the businesses that get approved for a lot of funding. Liquor stores, alcohol stores, and things like that have a lower failure rate than some of the other businesses, and they were one of the top businesses that received the most funding last year, according to Forbes. Doctors and dentists. We probably already know that most doctors and dentists actually make a lot of money, and those practices need a lot of money in order to get started and to continue due to the technology and the staffing and the level and the pay of the staff required. Therefore, doctors and dentists were on the top of the list for receiving funding and getting approved for funding. Literally because doctors and dentists have lots of education and there is a high demand for those services, they are able to get approved at a very high level, and those are some of the businesses that we saw that got the most amount of funding last year, according to Forbes. Software development and marketing came in next. Software development is obviously a very profitable business. We've seen lots of different technology, but when I'm talking about just softwares, a lot of the times it may be a smaller business like Canva, or it could be, what we call software as a service, SaaS, those type of businesses, like Zapier, different businesses like Go High Level or ClickFunnels. Those are types of businesses that actually got approved for lots of funding because, again, there was a high demand for those services. And once those services are actually developed, there's not a lot of cost to run them. So they were actually approved for a lot of funding because, again, they have high revenue and their expense ratios are actually pretty low. I will talk about that in just a second. Hotels, motels, and lodging. Hotels, motels, and lodging were the next type of businesses that received a lot of funding. Because hotels, travel, and things like that actually is a stable environment, they have actually done very well even after COVID. So one of the low points obviously was COVID when people weren't traveling. However, because hotels, motels, and lodging are actually real estate, combined with hospitality, they actually do very well, and they were considered a lower risk business, and many hotels, motels, and lodging facilities have a high success rate, not a high failure rate. Getting funding. If you are looking to get funding, one of the best things that you can do is create a business entity that is set up with your Secretary of State, that has an EIN, that has a professional phone number, and you have a business checking account. As a bonus, as the owner of the business, having good personal credit is going to be one of the things that gets you funded. Even if your business isn't profitable and isn't making a lot of revenue, if you can show that your business is making some revenue and you have been able to pay your bills, again, keep good credit, then you will be more likely to get approved for business funding. If you also are in a business that is considered growing and you state that you are going to use the funds from the lender to grow your business, you will have a higher percentage of getting funded. One of the best things that you can do, of course, is to put money, and as much money as you can, into your business checking account, because in many cases, there are lenders that will lend to you with just business checking account statements. You don't necessarily have to report or have a lot of money showing on your tax returns or your business tax returns in order to get approved for funding for a business. So having a business checking account with lots of good deposits, maintaining a positive balance, and having a business that is more than 2 years old is going to put you at the top tier of being able to get approved for funding, as well as having good personal credit so that you can personally guarantee those loans and get approved. If you are willing to personally guarantee a lot of your business loans, in many cases you will have a higher chance of getting approved, because it shows that if the business failed or if it went bankrupt, for example, you are saying, I will sell my house or I will sell my personal assets and I would pay this money back. Obviously, that comes with a higher risk, but at the same time, you will get approved more times than not. If you are looking for help with your business credit or getting business funding, check out my friends at Justin Merch Consulting. Justin Merch Consulting is an amazing company that I have used and I have referred many of my students to over the past years, and he has helped many people get $50,000, $75,000, even over $100,000 for their small business. Call my friends below at Justin Merch Consulting and tell them that Noelle Randall sent you, and you will get a free consultation where they will talk you through your best options and even help you build business credit and get business funding. Use the link below or let them know that Noelle Randall sent you, because they are willing to help and they have helped so many people that I know. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.